Alright, so guys, in this video, we're going to deep dive into the best development practices and the best kind of workflows and tools you can use with Claude Code that are out there all over the internet. I have compiled them in this video for you, and please follow it. Please make sure you're using these tips and techniques and these tools in your development workflow, as this can really 5 to 10x your speed of development, and I'm not joking here. So please deep dive into this if you're struggling with development, and dive into this. The first thing, of course, if you're a total noob, you need to install Claude Code, which you can very easily do by using these commands. If you haven't done so, please follow these instructions and get your Claude Code set up. If you're having any troubles or any issues, feel free to go over there in this detailed guide. So the first part, of course, is you go inside your repository, you initialized a framework or anything, and you want to start your Claude Code terminal. So first you open up your terminal. Right here, I'm going to do it through PowerShell, and you just type Claude. If you have Claude configured correctly, it will just launch it from right here, and it's going to ask if you trust it, and of course we're going to say yes, and that has initialized our Claude Code. Again, I showed you before as well, a good setup I like is to put it right here along with the cursor chat window. So some things you need to know about, first of all, is when you initialize it, if it's a totally new project, you might have to run this init command. If you're running it for the first time in any project, you have to run it. What this does is Claude Code kind of scans and looks over your whole project and creates this Claude.markdown file here, and this has all the information about your project, and some commands as well, how it should behave as well when trying to work with this project. Now you can also edit it and modify it, and we're gonna do that a little bit to show you how it's done. But once you will run this init command, which I already have, you will have this file created right here as well. Then, as I might have showed you in the previous lessons from the course, as how to prepare a documentation and the architecture document and everything, so you should have that prepared for your application idea before executing this, right? So you will have all that set up. I'm not going to deep dive into that part because we already have videos for that. But for Claude Code, you access it via this terminal, right? So you should know some important things. First of all, you have 2 or 3 different modes which you can toggle between using shortcuts. So I think for Mac OS, I think it's Shift and Tab that you select to go between them. For Windows, which I am on currently, you use Alt plus M for my system. The key bindings might be different for your own, but Alt plus M is, I think, the default for Windows. So as you can see, when I'm pressing Alt plus M, we are in this auto edits accept mode. When I'm pressing it again, we are in this plan mode. So this plan mode is very, very good for planning, and before you implement the code and feature, just have Claude kind of go over this and have a plan developed before implementing. So for example, if you're implementing 2 or 3 user stories, just like our BMAT workflow, you can what you can do is come here and initialize your developer agent, or even your product manager or somebody, and you can just say that we are implementing user stories 2.1, 3.1, or whatever user stories. And so let's plan ahead for them, right? And that's what you do in this plan mode. So this plan mode also has access to the internet, I think, so it can pull latest documents and everything and collect all those information before it starts to implement those features. So make use of this plan mode a lot during the development, and use it wisely because it does consume some tokens, but it's very essential for the development process to actually go smoothly. Now, once you are done with this plan mode, I think it will automatically shift to the auto edits mode. So you can just keep planning until you want to and then start the edit. So that's pretty simple and easy to do. But make sure you use this plan mode a lot during your development, and alternate between when you're planning to the development. When you're developing, you will be inside of this auto edits mode automatically. You can select if you want to accept edits or if you want to manually review each one. Use these modes a lot during development. Second thing I told you about is the Claude.markdown file, right? So this Claude.markdown file you have right here, that was created with the init command. You can read through it as to what it contains, how it understood your project and everything. And you will see there's this little instruction here before. So you can now add your own custom instructions as well. This file would be always sent to the agent whenever you are implementing or whenever it's working on something. So this file, it will always has access to it. It will always be seeing it, right? So what I like to do, or what you can also do if you want to implement this system, is to add this little piece here, uh, right here. So what it tells it is how it should work with this project. So it adds this to-do.markdown file. We are trying to create like a more organized system. So this will tell it to always make sure that a to-do list file always exists, and to keep logs of tasks that is doing and done within this to-do.markdown file. And it's just some more instructions to plan better and to break down specific tasks into smaller ones that are actionable, and you can tick off tasks and all that, and also keep you in the loop while developing. So it can always give you a brief note explaining what it did and why it did it, which helps a lot to reduce the errors as well, as we have learned. And yeah, we added this little thing. So what it will do now, it will create a to-do file, and it will keep track of its tasks. So you can do that, or you can leave that as it is. If you're having some issues with organization, or with it forgetting certain things, then you can try to implement it. So just wanted to show you that how you can modify this clock.markdown file to work for you with your method, with your workflow, right? But I'm going to provide this text as well in the resources below, so you can use it if you want to. So that was one other thing you can use. And right now, let's have a look at some of really important commands that a lot of people actually don't use and actually miss out on when using Claude Code. But these are actually very, very handy. The first one I will say is the resume command. So just like cursor, you can actually go back to your previous chats within Claude Code and resume from there as well. A lot of people think if you restart the terminal, all of that is gone, but that's not true. So you have this resume command that you can use. If you type /resume, and you can go to this resume conversation, and you can see all your conversations right here, and you can select which one you want to start from again. And it comes in very handy when you certainly have a terminal crash, or you want to of course get back to a previous conversation or something, right? So you can use it like that. And if you don't, just press escape. And another very important command is the export command. So you can actually export conversations out of Claude Code, and then use those conversations to maybe use with another IDE that you might want to use. So you maybe Claude Code isn't working, or you ran out of credits or something, and you want to use maybe a free um, large language model within Klein or within Cursor to develop some little feature or something, right? Then you can export that conversation. So export, and you can actually include the file name, what file name you want to give it, and it will actually export that certain conversation into that file. So you can either copy it to clipboard or save to file, whatever. But this features comes in very handy when you want to move out of Claude Code and actually go out to some other IDE, some other AI agent for maybe certain part of development. So this comes very handy as well. One other very important and very good feature to use is if you want to go back to a certain message within this conversation, you can also do that. So what you want to do is press escape, just the escape key twice, and as you can see, I went back. I am now seeing my previous messages. So in this conversation, I only sent two messages, right? One is this resume command, and one is this export command. So I can see and go back to any of my previous message, like start again from over there, instead of if something goes wrong or something, I can actually go back to the previous message. Now, just like cursor, a great feature of cursor was you can actually go back to previous checkpoints. So even your files will be restored to a previous stage if you move back to a previous checkpoint, right? And which came in very handy at times where certain features did not work and you want to go back and start all over again or something, whatever reason, right? So for Claude Code, you can of course go back in the conversation like this that I'm showing you, but to actually have a snapshot of your files so that you can actually go back to a previous state of your file you can actually do that using external packages, just like this one I'm going to show you. Alright guys, so this package we have, cc undo, actually lets you do that and go back, to previous states of your project when the edits were made. So you can actually revert to previous checkpoints. It is not the most visually, user friendly. If you want to use a more kind of more UI friendly tool, because this will work through command line, and if you're not very familiar with command line, you might find it a lot cluttery and everything, all the information. But the working and the installation is pretty simple. These are the commands that you can use to list your previous operation. You can see what's been done, what you want to undo or whatever, right? You can just use these commands to do all that. If you want to use a much more UI friendly tool, then you can use also this run yo-yo. You can install it and have it work alongside your IDE, so you can visually see those checkpoints. So it's much more cursor like. So if this is a problem to you, if you want to use tools to actually revert your code back to previous checkpoints, and you think you're having trouble with this because you're using Claude Code, then please give these two packages a try, and these might sort out all of your issues. But one of the things that I like to do myself personally is to just use git commits in between. When I have certain implementations working, I just push it to GitHub, and that's my checkpoint. But if you're really a beginner, then you might not be comfortable, or you might not remember sometimes to do that. So feel free to experiment and find your own workflow that suits you better. So now back to some few more important commands you should know. First of all, if you use right here this accelerator mark, you can actually go into bash mode, and what this is you can run commands directly here. So if you want to run pnpm dev or pnpm build here, you can run it using this, and you don't have to open a separate PowerShell terminal to do that. And one other command I like to use is memory. So if you use the pound thing, you can actually add things that you want your Claude code to memorize for this project, and it will add it to a memory. So if you want to remember that, always remember to use pnpm package, so it will add that to its memory and always keep it there, right? But one of the things I forgot to show you, I did not forget to show you, but I wanted to mention is once again this Claude.markdown file. So you can change all these things. So right now we have these npm commands in the development. If you want to use pnpm all the time, which I personally prefer to do, like change these to pnpm. Ask your Claude code to change the Claude.markdown file to use the pnpm package if you don't want to do it manually, right? And also look at the other things that it has written about your projects. If you want something to be correct or something to have been understood differently, like add that in. Feel free to add your own kind of workflow quirks in there if you want to, but use this Claude Markdown file to your advantage as well. Alright guys, so one other very basic thing I wanna of course tell you, because some of you might be beginners, is how to actually run and how to compile and how to build your projects. So there are two simple commands that you're going to be using a lot through the project, and you might want to also include those in your Claude.markdown file, as I showed you. So if you're using your npm package or pnpm just like I am, so you want to have that inside of Claude.markdown, and these are the commands you will be using most of the time, the pnpm dev and the pnpm build. So you can actually test for any errors that are happening during the build, during the compilation, or when you actually run the server. Just wanted to add that in there for somebody who is really new and really inexperienced. So after every few features you want to do and run both of these commands. So right now I have the pnpm dev command running, and I have the application open right now. So of course, if you see some errors, for example, if this is a Next.js project, so in the bottom left hand corner you might see some errors if something is not working correctly, right? So to troubleshoot, of course you're going to copy this and give it to your AI agent that you're seeing this error, right? The best way to do it is give all the errors from here, as well as from your terminal, as well as from your browser console. So if you press F12 on your keyboard, this browser console will open up right here, and you can like kind of go between these different tabs, but what you need is just the console. And as you can see the errors in much more description right here. So a lot of time you might not see this on the bottom left hand corner. So in those times, please make sure if your agent, if Claude Code is struggling to fix the error, it might not actually know what the error is because you did not even give it all these failures, all these logs that were here. So please make sure to always have this open when you're testing, when you're building your application, and see what's happening in the browser console. What if there's something failing? Feel free to provide it to your Claude Code or your cursor agent and ask it that I'm seeing this, and this is the failure that's happening. Can you please fix it, right? So what I like to do is I would usually provide these errors. Uh, if these are the same, in this case, this is the same as what we see in the browser. So you do not need to provide both, but you can provide all of them. It doesn't matter. So you can provide that one, a copy of that one, and then I will also copy the terminal outputs as well, right? There are some error logs in there, and then provide all of them inside of here, right? So you will say, okay, dev agent, right, or QA, whichever one. I am seeing all these errors, right? All these errors when running pnpm dev. And if you're seeing these errors when you run a certain button, you want to also tell it that, right? The more in detail, the more context you give it about what's happening and when it's happening, the easier it will be for your agent to troubleshoot and fix that problem. So do not be vague here. Do not just copy and paste and let the agent run. Give your own explanation as well as to what you are seeing on the screen, what is happening. Is it happening when you're pressing certain button? Is it happening on this page? Is it happening when you're doing this, right? So give it full details so it can understand that error and actually fix that. If you don't do that, it would not understand it, and besides of fixing the error, it might even make it much more worse. So always be fully comprehensive and detailed with it when troubleshooting and fixing errors. So in this point, what I will do is I will just say, that this is the terminal output, and I will just paste all of this within these codes right here, uh, and then I will also do a separate browser console output, and then I will paste all of what I saw in the browser console, all of this. So all of this I will paste as well here as well, right? And this will tell it, okay, when I'm pressing a certain button and when I'm doing this, these are the errors that I'm seeing in the console as well as the terminal. And it's much more higher chance to fix that error, to actually understand the core issue with it and actually fix it, instead of making your problem worse. So always troubleshoot comprehensively, always be very detailed with it. Your own testing during development, do a lot of testing. What's happening when I'm pressing this button? What's happening when I'm going back? Am I seeing any errors? Is the whole functionality working well, working as it should be in a professional production ready app that you use every day? So do this in a comprehensive manner. Do not slack off and just be lazy and copy and paste this and just say fix it. Do not do that, right? Maybe for a very small functionality you can do that, but not if you want to fix the core issues with the functionality. You got to be very comprehensive. So use this system, be very comprehensive when developing and fixing these issues and errors. It's a very important tip. All right, so now we're going to look at one of the very important and very effective feature of Claude Code, which is Claude Code hooks. It was launched recently, I think a month ago or something, and it works very effectively. Let me explain to you what it is. So these hooks are nothing but certain actions that can happen when Claude Code is working and writing its code and everything. You can actually program certain actions to happen at certain points. So for example, at certain points when it maybe is about to call a tool, or it's already called a tool, or it's stopped, so what you can do now is with these hooks, you can kind of program it to behave in a certain way after something happens in its development. For example, you can program it to make a sound after it's created a new file, or make a sound after it's stopped working. so that you can be notified, right? That's a very simple example, but the big core use cases of it can be like you can pre-configure it to run the build and the dev commands after a story is finished or after some functionality is implemented, or you can configure it to always use code formatting. For example, you can use prettier for Next.js project or black for Python projects to always run these code formatters whenever a certain piece of code is edited or new code is written whenever, right? So this comes in very important. This means that you don't have to manually go and each time ask Claude Code to do something. If you have something that you want to run after each implementation or after some specific event that Claude Code is doing, then you can configure the hooks for that. So let me show you in the Claude Code kind of how it looks like. So this is one of my project I have open, and on the left hand side you can see inside this Claude folder I have these file called settings.local.json. In your system this could be like settings.json or something, but over here is where you write your hooks. So please don't freak out. You don't have to manually write this. I'm going to show you a way where you can very easily convert a language to a hook, anything you want. But yeah, this is where it goes. So how you're going to configure it is we're going to use one of these repositories of Claude rule to hook, and we're going to make our hook using this. So I'm going to show you how, but first let's have a look at what I have implemented. So as you can see, I have implemented this hook. This means the matcher. So whenever a new file is written, it will run this command, which will play a specific file. So let's have Claude Code run and create new file, right? So let's create a new file called hello.md. Okay, so let's see if it works, and it's asking me permission. Yeah, that was loud, but it makes an elephant scream sound, so that was just to show you a demo of how these work. So now in my workflow, every time this event happens, it will do what I set it to do, which is to make a sound, right? So think of these as hooks, as how powerful they can be. When certain event happens during Claude Code's development, you want something else to happen, right? So for example, our npm build and run commands, you can also configure it here with hooks. And this code formatting is one of the biggest examples of it, right? A lot of people want the code that the AI wrote. It might not be clean, it might not be following a consistent pattern, so you want it to be formatted by a library like Prettier for our TypeScript in Next.js. So you can totally configure that here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, of course, you're gonna use this repository, this rule to hook, but the documentation inside of this is outdated, so we're gonna make a few changes to it. So first of all, you're gonna install it. Follow these steps to install it. If you have any trouble, use your cursor or Claude Code to help you install this. And once you have installed this, inside of your project now, inside of your .claude, inside of your commands, you should see this rule to hook file. So right now yours might be an older version, and the problem with that is it tries to create a hooks.json file if you try to use it just as it is. So once you have set up the installation and everything, you want to first of all restart your Claude Code, because that's how the changes take effect. And after that, you should be able to see the command. So rule to hook. So as you can see, I'm seeing the command right here when I'm trying to type. So rule to hook, and now you're going to just naturally describe what you want to happen, right? So I want to implement a hook that will run edit or write. So I just wrote this small command. It says that I want you to implement a hook that will run pnpm dev and pnpm build after you edit or write new code, right? Run it, right? Now, if you haven't made any changes so far, or what I'm going to show you, you might see that your tool, your rule to hook command will create a hooks.json file. Now, this was the older way of doing hooks. Now Cursor has changed it, and it actually includes hook inside of this settings.local.json or settings.json file. So make sure we have to update the contents inside of the rule to hook file, and I'm going to provide you the updated file below in the resources. And one more thing you have to do is copy and paste this tools.md file in your project as well. And what this is this teaches the agent about all the tools that Claude Code has access to, so it can then write the hooks according to that. Okay, so both of the files will be available. You just have to replace the contents of the rule to hook that was created when you installed it, and just copy and paste the contents of the file below inside it, and paste your tools.md here as well in the project itself, and then you're good to use it. Then restart your Claude Code once again, and then you can just talk to it just like I did. So again, slash rule to hook, and then just naturally describe what rule you want to be converted to a hook. Now, if you don't know, if you say, okay, I'm not a programmer, I don't know how to use it in the best way, again, use AI agents. So go to ChatGPT, okay, ask it, this is my project stack. I want to create some hooks for Claude Code to actually for my agent to write cleaner code or to reformat code after each time it implements certain code, and ask it to create a file for you. Ask it to create a rules.md file, something like that, right? And then take that file and then give our Claude Code that and tell it, okay, these are the rules I want to implement. Can you convert it to hook, right? So that's how you use it. So you will do rule to hook, and once you have that file that you wrote with ChatGPT, whatever hooks you want to implement, whatever events you want to happen, and you will just say, okay, let's implement this file, let's implement that rule.md file that you will have somewhere in the project, and create the hooks for that, and it will do that. Then it will add of your settings.json file, and you will see all of them, just like you're seeing this new one created, right? So that's how you want to think about it, right? So the matcher is the event which will trigger the hooks, right? So edit, multi-edit, or write will trigger these ones, right? So every time. So that's how you try to use hooks. I really wanted to bring this concept over to you and bring the resources as to how to use it, and how to actually use natural language to create these if you don't want to write them yourself. So you can use it to your advantage and use this feature. Alright, so the next one I want to show you is another tool that I've been using, and you can use to really kind of keep track and keep tabs on your Claude Code usage. So this repository, the Claude Code Usage Monitor, is really handy for this, and I'm going to show you how to use it. It's pretty simple. I'm going to paste the link below in the description, and you can install it for yourself, and I'm going to show you how to install it as well and how it looks. Alright, so right here the most simplest installation is with UV, so you can just use these commands, and as you can see, it's installing right now. Alright, so once that's done, you just run this to run now the monitor, and let's make it big. So there you go. So this kind of comes in very handy if you want to see where you're at in your usage, because as you know, Claude Code usage kind of resets within 5-hour windows, and if you want to keep track of where you are, as you can see, this is my message usage, this is my token usage, this is how much cost I have used so far, and this is the time to reset. So I have 2 hours 36 minutes set to reset the window, right? So this comes in very handy, again free of charge, and you can really keep tabs on your Claude Code usage, and I will highly recommend you to use as well. Alright guys, so the next concept we're going to look at is a very, very important one, and it is sub-agents. So Claude Code recently introduced sub-agents, and it is an incredible concept if you understand it well and learn how to use it. It can be a little bit token intensive, so if you use it all the time, you might end up consuming a lot of tokens. But if you have the Claude Pro $100 or $200 plan, you should be good. And if you use it well, you should be able to see the incredible capabilities of these sub-agents. In short, what this is sub-agents are just specialized agents that are built for one specific purpose, right? It has access to a specific set of tools. It has access to its own context window, so it's not stealing anything from the main agent. It's doing its own specialized work that it's assigned for, and that really makes it work well. And these sub-agents also work parallelly together on one task, so it takes less time and it's more horsepower you're putting into one task, with these different agents dividing up tasks and working to accomplish it together. So it might sound like a lot of jargon, but an example of that might be um, a test agent, right? A test runner agent. So that's what they have given here as well. So a simple agent that just reviews your code or runs your test, right? And after some new code has been implemented, right? So this is what a sub agent will be, and it will have its own context window. It will has its own set of tools that are only designed for what that agent does, right? Now, where you can find these agents, so um, inside of any of your projects, if you go to this Claude, inside there is this agents folder. If you have created any agents, you're going to be putting them here. If you don't, you might have to create this folder, and that's where the agents will go. Now inside of your Claude code, when you start up your Claude code, so what I usually like to use to start up the Claude code when using sub agents is this command. So dangerously skip permissions and verbose. Dangerously skip permissions is because you don't have to keep approving its permission when it's asking for certain tasks, and verbose is so you can actually see what each agent is doing. It will be displayed on your terminal right here much more clearly. So that's how I want to start it. If you want to use sub agents, you don't have to use verbose, but if you want to see what each agent is outputting and everything, then you want to use it. Now, uh, if you want to see what agents you have currently, you can click on, you can use this command called agents, and it will display all the agents you have. If you don't have these right now added on, I will show you how to add them. But I added them externally myself, and you can also create your own agent, right? So if you go here, you can create your own agent, but these are the agents I already have. So now how to use these agents, or how to kind of bring these agents that I have in your own projects as well, is I have this GitHub repository of agents. I will put the link in the description. All you have to do is clone this repository. You will have a agents folder that will be formed once you clone it, and then you're gonna just copy that agent folder within your project, within your Claude, within your agents. So this is where you're gonna copy that folder, and this is where you will see all your agents. And then when you will do your /agents command once again, uh, it will show all those agents that you are seeing right here. So if you want to look at this folder, you can see there are a lot of different agents, specialized agents for design, for engineering, for marketing, for for product management, for studio operations, and for testing, right? So now it will itself be able to decide and pick multiple agents for a particular project. So let's test it from a very, very vague prompt, and let's just tell it very, very vaguely within 2 sentences to actually revamp a UI using these sub agents. Now, if you're using them, please be sure and understand that they will use much more context window than if you're running Claude code with a single agent. So be prepared for that, and monitor your Claude code usage using the Claude code monitor I showed you earlier as well. That comes in really handy in scenarios like this one. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, like right here, I can see my current usage, which is changing because I have these agents running. So right now I just implemented a very simple command of revamping my current UI for our text insert layer app, which we built within this course. And we're just revamping the dashboard for this. So let's see what it can do. Um, so as you can see right here on the UI, a bunch of different agents are right now working together, as you can see, and they're kind of working on this project together. So first I went into plan mode. I formed a plan, and right now it's just a lot of things happening. So with verbose, you might see this kind of glitch when it's outputting new content. So I'm just gonna approve all of these. I'm not sure if I ran the dangerously skip permissions during this session, so that's why it's asking for a lot of permissions. But as you can see, we'll let it to work and we will see the final result that it gives us. Alright guys, so our operation is still running. I'm still making some improvements, but I want to show you how big of a difference it was able to make within the first try by itself. Now of course it used a lot of tokens as I told you so, but I want to show you how much of a difference it made. So right here, as you can see on the left hand side, you have the previous UI of our layer text application, and this is what it made by itself without me trying to tell it anything of how to improve it. So this is how the dashboard looks like. As you can see, massive improvements. And if you haven't noticed, when I hover over these cards, they have micro interactions in them as well. So they are like zooming out a little bit. And as you can see, if I hover over this button, it's giving me a micro interaction, and it integrated all that by itself. Now I did it very quickly to show you how to use these sub agents, but in reality, if you actually have a plan, if you have a UI design that you want to implement and you want to copy, or you want to implement some interactions that you have in mind, that can work out really well with this kind of implementations using sub agents. So that's what I wanted to show you. So let's have a look further. So if you go to upload new image, this is how it used to look like, and this is how it looks like now. So I had to restart the server, but this is how the upload page looks. It's not much difference, but as you can see, the micro interactions like make it feel a lot more cleaner. Like nothing happens when I go over here, but as you can see, there's little micro interactions that's happening right here. As you can see, it's zooming out, and right now it didn't implement these icons. As you can see, they're right now visible white, but it will when I talk to it. I might also improve that, and these will be like beautiful icons here. And as you can see, it's very little differences, right? But as you can see from the UI, like it's certain things have been improved, and it looks much better now compared to when I go over here and nothing happens, right? So it made all these changes by itself very quickly, and that's what I wanted to show you. As let's go to the history section and see how it has changed it. So I really like these buttons as well. Like they light up, and just the look of them. So this was our previous history session, and as you can see, this one looks much better. It's still gonna implement these icons that you can still see in white, but with them I think it will look much better. So look at that, how big of a difference it has made by itself. On the left we had the previous one, and on right this looks much better, much more premium, and the interactions are much better, right? As you can see right here. And it implemented all that in one go. So what sub agents can do. Now please do not run them like I did here just to show you. I just gave it a very vague 2-sentence prompt, just make the UI better, right? Do not give it vague prompts, give it some examples of how you want it and what kind of interactions buttons you want, so that it can work even better. It can work wonders for you, right? But that's an example of sub agents use and how it can implement a lot of changes very well and implement them so that your application doesn't break. Dive into this sub agents concept is what I would recommend you once you have gotten a little bit used to the whole workflow and using Claude Code. This is a very powerful concept. So yeah, so I hope all of these tips and tricks I showed you in this video were helpful, and was able to actually give you that edge that a lot of people do not know right now they can have using Claude Code like this. And with these extra tools, extra repositories and technologies I just showed you, you will be able to leverage Claude Code to 10 to 5x a normal user, and be able to get the maximum productivity out of it. So I hope you take some value out of it. If you have any doubts, any problems, anything you want to discuss, feel free to book a call with me via the Calendly link. School members have one free call per month, so feel free to use that if you want. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and let's keep building.